Greetings all. I managed to make it back to Linden after spending over an hour in a line to get from West Demerara, Region 3, to get to Region 4 to cross the Demerara Harbor Bridge. Then to travel the East Bank, where the PPP for some odd reason believes that it makes sense for 65 miles or so from Linden all the way to Georgetown, just pretty much very close to Georgetown, over 60 miles, maybe 40, 50 plus miles. I'm tired. It makes sense to these people for major road work to be done. So if you drive along from Linden, it used to take you about an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, half and a half. Now it takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm exhausted, but not too exhausted to sit here before you and to raise this matter because I see where this is going. If you hear me clearly and see me clearly, I'm on StreamYard. For whatever reason, there are all kinds of things on my screen. Share the referral link. Can't post some comments to certain destinations. Post a comment. So I'm hardly seeing any comments, but that's fine. The People's Progressive Party shall offer Adriana Young's family through their agents because of the owner's relationship with that party and key elements, ministers and other high-ranking officials, as I said to you earlier. That family shall be offered tens of millions of dollars, probably a house, depending on where they live. The first thing that the PPP does, and that's why they're so disrespectful to the poor in Guyana. The first thing that they do is they assess your economic standing. They assess whether you are of any weight financially. And once they discover, trying to fix this thing, once they realize, once they made an assessment that you're not worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even $1 million in reference to cash, the first thing that they seek to do in their circles is to assess whether you are a poor person. And once they deem you to be a poor person by their elite standard, they will offer you money. It happened before. Ask the little girl who made the allegation against the Minister government. It happened before. They shall offer you money. Depending on the extremity of the matter and how far-reaching it is, in this case, this is viral on many platforms. They'll have to come up with a greater sum that they, in their mind, believe that no poor person can refuse. The PPP did this before with the children in Madia, the 19 girls and one boy. They offered those families $5 million. 5, not 50, 5 million. The People's Progressive Party would have been willing to pay $100 million for 20 lives. 5 million each and shut up. Quentin Bacchus's family had to go to the court of law. It had to be fought in court. And his family would have been awarded $24 million, Guyana dollars, which is 110,000 US dollars for a whole life. And guess what? Anil Nandalal said that he's going to fight that. He's going to fight against this. He's going to appeal that matter, that ruling, because Quentin Bacchus' family should not receive $24 million, which is 110 US dollars. Here finale came to Linden when Ronaldo Peters and Mr. Fudgeonay, Dan as I know him to be, when they were shot and killed, murdered by policemen. he decided that they must meet him at Patuka Guest House, where someone who I know was present. And based on that report, the family, or one or both of them, were offered some money. We pay for the funeral. That's why both of the caskets were the same. Because the PPP said, we pay. The government, the administration said, we pay for the funeral. You don't have to foot that bill. We'll cover that expense. Since for these people, since they were able to rape our country and gain so much money, they believe that they could just use it to escape societal reprisal, to escape responses that they really can't deal with. I would hope and pray that this time around, it's different for y'all. Because you murdered an 11-year-old girl. One of your people did. One of your people murdered this child. And the police, senior ranking officials, were actively and deeply involved in seeking to cover this up. And instead of Irfanani immediately terminating, because you all don't follow the Constitution, so you don't have to do anything in Police Service Commission, none of that. You appointed Hicken without any commission. You appointed Hicken without even doing what is necessary by according to law. You appointed Hicken when he was past the age of uh, retirement. Now listen to me, Adriana's father and mother. If they offer you 50 million, $100 million, take it. Take my words. Take it. But do not allow it to silence you. And do not let them tell you to tell us to be quiet, to be calm, to just relax and let the investigations proceed. I'm asking you, I'm asking you for my sake and for many people's sake. Take the money. If they offer you 50 million, 60 million, 80 million, whatever sum, because they have money to throw around the place, take it. But do not tell us that we must not react because this has gone beyond you. This has gone beyond Adriana. This has gone to us looking at the police and the PPP for what they are. So this is, you are the picture here. Take your money if they offer it to you. Because jail doesn't solve problems. And I doubt that the hotel owner, his son, or any other family member will go to jail. More than likely, he'll have a worker take the rap. Because that worker will promise that you'll be in jail for over 3 years or so, and then you'll just disappear from prison after a while. People won't really pay attention to you. And once the matter dies down, you'll be free. We'll get you in a boat or a plane out of Guyana. I know the system. And you leave here with about 10 to $15 million in your hand, your family will be set. I know the system. I told you all that the PPP's money is long because of corruption. It is almost midnight. I have to work. I'm exhausted, but I am totally burdened by the reality of my people. And the reality of Guyanese people is that you're led by an administration who believes that money will solve everything. Once you kick up a racket and you misbehave, money. If you are of a certain ethnicity, police brutality. If you are of an Indian ethnicity and you're in a crowd, there won't be police brutality. There will be the presence of ministers of government to try to make this about a race thing. This is not a race. This is not an ethnic thing. You all can't drag it down to that. Guyanese have to realize that there's a plan. The plan being concocted is how do we pay off Adriana's family? How do we get the family to just relax and not demonstrate? How do we get the family to plead with the public, to just be calm and they await justice? So once you're awaiting justice and once Ifanali says, listen, there'll be a thorough investigation. Clifton Hicken, I have a whole broadcast for you again because you decide to tell us or tell the public that you need to find out from the police at Region 3 why there was misinformation or wrong information sent to command center in Georgetown. Now imagine that after how many years in Guyana police force seeking, you got the nerve to come and tell us something of this nature that is so stupid. It's better if you said nothing. You're going to ask the police in Region 3 to tell you why they lied to the public and why they lied to you all to say, listen, they have CCTV or closed circuit television, security cameras is normally called. You are going to ask the police to tell us why they lied to you. Guys, can you all understand what we're dealing with here? The police lied about Ronaldo Peters, lied. The young man in Linden who was shot at close range and killed, driven around in a minibus, and he wasn't sent to the hospital in the same minibus. Instead, the police was in Georgetown, as far as I'm rekindled, watching us, watching people in Linden protesting, watch people get shot and killed and stuff. And he was right there watching. I said he's not in any cell or anything like that. He's right there watching. And the police called it close arrest. The family in Linden, finally got y'all to move and go to meet him at the guest house. While the police were still shooting at people with AK-47s and whatever, or shotguns, whatever it was. And then, of course, you have to go and say, remain calm. We appeal for peace. Within 24 hours after murdering two of our people, let's remain calm, Linda. We don't have to burn anything. We don't have to be on the street fighting or anything. Just remain calm. Let the police do their work because the police are going to investigate themselves. And the police are going to have a thorough investigation according to what Irfan Ali said. And we're going to have an independent investigation. Let me help you all in Guyana. Listen to me. There's nothing called an independent investigation of the Guyana Police Force. So I don't know who's telling you all this and who's made. They're using what is called jargon. They're using terminologies that they know the average Guyanese is not intelligent enough to understand. Unfortunately so, because most people don't read a lot and do not assess things in an independent manner in reference to being an independent thinker. I don't want my phone to wake you up. The police said that Quindon Bacchus fired a shot or shots at them and they returned fire. When they checked the gun was inoperable, meaning it doesn't work. The same Ghana police force, said that Quindon Bacchus shot at them first. When we saw the video, they were chasing that young man and shot him while school children, little children, were right in the area walking, having to scatter. The police, more than one of them, chased that boy and shot him 5 times, as far as I could count. And then told us that he had a gun and he shot at them first. When they checked the weapon, it was inoperable because they planted it on him and didn't have sense to know, like critics with the pool story. These people check this gun, ballistics will check to see what was going on here. Tonight, Irfan shows up, hugging the father, smiling for photograph. Because I'm telling you all that one of the greatest pressures a family who's not well off would face is, do I decide to fight for justice and just fight having to deal with having to pay light bill, pay coach if possible, pay rent, or do I just accept $80 million and a house or $50 million in a house, depending on the negotiating strength? We have a 5-bedroom house. We have $80 million. We can start a business, or do we just fight here and hope that something comes out of a corrupt system? Tonight is my night to talk to you about reality, about what Guyanese have to deal with without there being anything called any independent investigation. There's nothing called an independent investigation. Whoever is conducting an investigation, you could bring them from the FBI, from Scotland Yard, from wherever you want. Listen to me carefully. They depend on Robeson Ben, who will have to instruct the policemen and Blanham and others to give them certain bits of information to work with. There's nothing called an independent investigation. So let's share this broadcast while you wake up in the morning. And let this become viral so we can deal with these people the way we have to deal with them. There's nothing called an independent investigation. So when you talk to me about that, I don't hear you. Now, Guyanese can hear you thinking that you're doing something that makes sense. But I do not hear you because I know exactly the system you're functioned by. I know the system. Before I came to the public and began to speak so publicly, I have studied systems. That's how I function. I process by studying how things work. hence my field of work. I'm a musician as well, so I have to study how instruments work, the system of music and all that. I'm a sound engineer, if you don't know that. I have to study how things work. How do you get songs to gel? At what frequency a voice can project properly? No, I study these things. Which instruments function, what frequency, if you have a band, depending which instrument you have there, how do you mix the music? I study in systems. I understand, I'm telling you. That's why it's called a sound system. There is nothing called an independent investigation because you have to depend on people to give you information. So if you bring somebody from the FBI, they have to depend on Guyana Police Force to give them information to work with. They have to depend on a system that is corrupt at the top. I told you all this for years in this country, that at the upper tier, at the upper level of our society, we are most corrupt. Who can tell me they cannot remember my saying that repeatedly, but Granger's administration, all y'all. From the upper tier of our society, we are most corrupt people in this country. I study y'all. When my matter arose and I had to go to the court, an official of the judiciary refused to do the most basic, the most elementary thing that is expected, hands down. Where's the evidence? I have evidence here, Your Honor. I have it because that's a lower court. That's not a no Supreme Court or appellate court. I have it. You can see it right here. No, I don't want to see anything. There's no prima facie, so we won't go forward with any matter. Drop the case because of connections, because of associations. That's our reality in this country. The PPP, because this person, as far as I'm aware, this family, when they have events in West Demerara, their tents will be out, their chairs will be out, porta potties will be out. They're the big boys of West Demerara. So they're known. Vikram Barrett, I'm told, is a friend of the family. I'm saying what I'm told. The higher ups in the PPP, they're friends of the family. Which is why the young man and others were not in shackles today, being taken anywhere. They were escorted to a vehicle. They were not arrested. I have to work in the blazing sun tomorrow. I hope it doesn't do up. I have to be in a construction site. I'm exhausted. But this is rubbing me in a way. Y'all don't want it to rub me. I stood today in a public place and cried as a grown 51-year-old man. Cried with anger. I ensured that I composed myself before I went over the river. Because I keep telling Bar Jagdeo, y'all don't want to see the other side of me. If there's one thing I don't fear, it's what you fear the most. And y'all don't want to see the other side of me. To use people's poverty or use people's societal status or economic status as a weapon against them is a crime against humanity. That's how I see it. To use the office of the president to not act in a manner that's responsible for the Constitution being upheld is a crime against humanity. There is no way that Clifton Hicken, Wolfson Ben should be in a position after the Lyndon situation, Quinlan Bacchus' situation, and so many others. But let's bring it to the floor. Adriana's situation. This is an 11-year-old girl now. This is no grown man. Even the situation in Lyndon with a 51-year-old male sexually assaulted a little 8-year-old girl. And the police had to wait until we took the man to them after promising us that they will be there with us the morning. Shortly thereafter, Ronaldo was shot and killed because the police could find time to show up with a gun and kill him in cold blood. But they couldn't kill a man who sexually assaulted a little girl because he was worthy of living. See, my justice system works differently now. I have a justice system in my head, That brother keep telling you, you better pray to heaven that I don't have 24 hours in this country. Just for one day, you had better pray to all the gods you know and hope that they can answer because they're dead. They can't answer. Then they're figments of my imagination, of people's imagination. But pray to them still and hope that I don't have a chance to be with you in any capacity of power in this country. As you call it power. I call it responsibility because you are not going to like it. I have a justice system in my head to deal with you all. You murder an 11-year-old girl. You murder an 11-year-old girl. Your people murdered an 11-year-old girl. And we must sit back and allow the justice system to work. We must not misbehave because says Gun Roger, GCOM commissioner could write that when people, I know, I keep telling y'all, when people do things and the police act in a responsible manner, the public suffers and the PPP is blamed. Imagine this creature. Consider when the police act in a manner responsible, the public suffers, meaning people, the roads are burnt and some people can't get to drive. That's how you suffer. When the police do things to us, we must leave the roadway clear so the PPP big boys can go home and they can get their buildings and their business friends and so could run their business because they can't afford to lose $80,000 in a day. They can't afford to lose any money. They can't afford to lose time to go home to their air-conditioned homes. And if there's power outage with GPL and your brother, they can't afford to not go home with the generators running whenever there's power outage. They can't afford to do that. It's inconveniencing for them to have to sit to wait anywhere to go home. They cannot afford the inconvenience of having to wait in a line because they can call ahead and tell the police, clear the road, I'm coming through, I'm going home. And the police have to pull you over and wait for minutes to pass. Because victim lives over there or wherever you are. Oh, but there's a day coming. Anyway, as exhausted as I am, as much as my heart bleeds, I'm saying to the family, if you see this broadcast, take the money, take it, do something that's worthy of building a legacy economically, but do not stop. Don't appeal to us to not do anything. Do not. I'm asking you, do not appeal to us to be calm. Do not appeal for us to not act because we're going to protest every single time we have the chance to until Hicken is gone, Ben is gone, and all others. The commander who's responsible for this situation here must be in jail, not fired. You don't fire people who do things like this because it could also be a case whereby he set up somebody or allowed, I should say, not he set him up, but he allowed through his behavior someone else to suffer immensely because if the police could try to cover up one crime, they could create another crime. And that happens a lot in our country where policemen decide that somebody has to take the fall. So they put drugs in somebody's car, put weed in somebody's car. That's why they don't come and search my vehicle like that. You, you can't come and search my vehicle. The police not just decide, oh, I want to search a vehicle and open it and tell me they have the right to stop searching it. They have to tell me why you stopped me. You're not searching anything here just like that. Why did you stop me? You search when there's suspicion, probable cause. Yahweh knows he never makes a mistake. But he knows why? I am not Adriana's father. Because they don't find me standing out anywhere waiting for some police to do something. They have to, I tell them, even the little girl there, you have to kill me. Because I will die to defend my family. And I would not go alone under certain circumstances. So you chicken preachers, sit it back. Y'all can't handle this kind of business right here. You chickens, sit at the back. I don't want you to have heart failure. You can't handle the zone that we're in right now in this country. So sit in the corner and relax. We are now in a place whereby we have to survive as a people by freeing ourselves from oppressors. When the police could be used to fight against me and to fight against Adriana, that's what you did. You fought against a little girl, a murdered girl you fought against to protect a businessman and his family. No, you all have upped the game, so we'll up our game too. Then Irfan, you come that you are you, so what can you tell us, Irfan Ali, to give us 1 ounce, an iota of confidence in the Guyana police? I tell you, first of all, don't call them any force. They're not a force. They're supposed to be a service, not a force. I told you that there's nobody in that hotel who should be at home tonight. Every single person who worked in that hotel last night who was videoing and making himself a set of jackasses should be arrested today, not tomorrow. Every person who was at work last night has to be arrested because guests don't push trolleys, and guests in the hotel will not be able to make certain action move certain places. And hotel workers know exactly what the hotel is like. They know the configuration of the rooms. They know everything. They have to. There's no secret chamber here. You tell me that anybody could be home tonight from those girls who were recording last night, skinning their teeth and saying somebody laughing their own thing, and they could be free tonight while people are in pain. Y'all better find them. I keep telling y'all, the one who said that the girl went text your man, or whatever else it is, and now people cry. All of y'all, I'm telling you, there's a justice system that can find you. There's a justice system that's going to find y'all. Pay the $100 million to the family. We as Guyanese, we beyond the family part. We deal with on a different zone right now. Go pay the family, do what you want to do. But we are going to deal with the police who cannot deal with themselves because they have to give account to us. The police have to tell us why they lied. They don't have to tell Hicken that. Hicken doesn't pay them. We pay them. Can you imagine that Irfan Ali has not said there'll be a coroner's inquest? At least I didn't hear him say that. He doesn't even know what that is. If there is a magistrate's court in Region 3, which there is, Leron Magistrate Court, there has to be an order by the magistrate. You don't just bring in pathologists and cut people open. The Guyana's law requires that there be a coroner's inquest for any death that's unnatural. Her death was natural for sure, because you threw her in the pool and claim okay, then she drowned. So there has to be a coroner's inquest. There's a magistrate court in Lenora. If there's a magistrate court, then there has to be a coroner's inquest. The magistrate is called the coroner in Guyana. That's the law. Irfan is ignorant of the most basic things in law. So how you suddenly bring in an independent pathologist from Barbados? How you bring in an independent pathologist from Barbados? How you how you end up there? Do you even know what a coroner's inquest is? Because there was no coroner's inquest launched for Ronaldo Peters killing, which was also unnatural. None for Janae's killing, for Dan's killing, the other young man, which is unnatural. There's no coroner's inquest ordered for Quinton Bacchus's killing, which is unnatural, or in Boston. So we have magistrate courts, magistrate, and they have no coroner's inquest, which the law stipulates must be had for deaths of unnatural causes. Even picking mangoes in his yard while people are alive, because you go alive to Tabu Polari and Barra and Egbal and whatever else it is, and people say this and people say that about you and say, but you can't go live yesterday from a yard in Lenora, your pool house. You go over at the pool house and say, listen, I'm observing something here and people can't find this girl. Hicken, send a team of officers here now, send a SWAT team. Can, Batters, you send people here to find this girl. You can't do that, but you could show up hours after. when buildings have been burnt and all that, to say that you are instructing Hicken. You, look who you instructed. Hicken to give you an answer as to all of the events that followed the disappearance of the girl. So the answers, Ali, will give us the girl back. 19 fraud charges. The answer, the answer that Hicken gives you will give us Ariana back, Adriana back. Once Hicken tells you that this one lied, the commander tried to cover something up. He said he thought that the girl left. He heard about the man's son say the girl went in the ram or whatever. Once they give you answers, Irfan, that will give us Adriana back. But what you can't even do is answer to the constitution that you swore. You swore at the Chung Center when you showed up in Mohammed's F-150 or Raptor, the bulletproof one, where you escaped for your life, according to what he said. And we saw you got out of a F-150 truck. You swore to uphold the Constitution, to uphold it, not to deny its usage in our country. The Constitution stipulates that there must be a coroner's inquest into any such thing like this afternoon. You, as the lady of this leader, well, you don't lead me, but you lead the country on paper. You don't even have enough common sense to ask Anil, Nazal Nandalal, to tell you, what do I do here, Anil? Anil, what is the law? What should I say? Because the first thing she's speaking to is a coroner's inquest. That's where investigations are had into what happened to this girl. The other thing that you do is to fire Hicken immediately because under his watch within 1 month, the police lied twice about murders in our country. Within a month, within 3 weeks, or within 1 month, they have lied and published statements. They put people car number. What if people in the car and burn it up today? Only to find out that they lied? But they will offer the family money. It's about to strike midnight. They will offer the family money. And in offering this family money, it comes with stipulations. The stipulation is you must not encourage people to protest and misbehave. You must join the voices in government who ask for calm, restraint, peace, trust, confidence in the systems. Let the system work. When the girl said, I'm not bugged her until she bled, Ali said, let the system work. Figure, I have a broadcast for you to ask you if this girl being murdered now. I didn't see a statement yet. Let me see. I haven't read it. Maybe I don't. You unblock me. Or you block me, so I don't know what you're doing. But somebody, if Figgy said that there's no cause for national rebellion, let me know, please. Because with two young men being murdered, and then Figgy said there's no cause for national rebellion. So now the police, a commander sought to get a mother to go home last night, go and sleep. He said, go to your bed. We have it because obviously they knew where the girl was, as far as I'm aware, based on what he said and how he acted. So y'all go home and let's do what we have to do. Unspoken language. Figures that cause a national rebellion, or you still shake your friends on and say, well, there's no reason for us to act in any manner that's really extreme. Since the police are lying to us about killing people being killed and they covering it up. Can you tell us, Figuera, because you represent Region 10, you pay to be my representative. You don't represent me though, but you pay to represent me in Region 10. Can you tell us, Figuera, whether there is cause now for national rebellion, or you still think that Irfan is doing a good job? Hmm? You represent Region 10. You can't even say that in your region, two men were shot and killed. One was killed not throwing a grenade at the police, not having a gun, not burning a building. He was on the road and the police shot and killed him. In the north, in Region 3, they were burning buildings and taking stuff out of the buildings and nobody shot them. No police arrested them. Nobody police did anything. Just leave them alone. But in Linden, in your region, they would love them so much. They loved us so much, Figuera, that they killed Dan in a protest, they said, without guns on the other side, without people burning any building. But you said nothing today to compare the two situations because you can't. You might as well get out of Region 10 and get out of office. Granger has you there. Granger has you doing what you're doing right now because he cannot remove you from Parliament. Granger, we have no confidence in Figuera. None. He can't even speak to compare Region 3, Region 3, Region 10. He can't even do that. I stood and I cried. I cried because of the thought that crossed my mind. And my mother will tell you, in her old age, just about 80 years old, that you see, when I was a boy, and you do something to me, and I can't do what I want to do to you, that's when you can't hit me for me to cry. Once I say I want to do something to you, and I can't get to do it, I used to stand and holler because I can't get to do what I want. You bring up that animal in me. But I am mature and thankful to Yahweh that I found a place with one of my brothers, and I cried before I went to Region 3. I have children now. I have saints in the kingdom of Yahweh to whom I give account in reference to my actions and my responsibility. I watch for their souls, and that saves you all a whole lot. A whole lot. But it's a justice system in my head. And should Yahweh give me the grace, you'll see it in action one day. One day, should he give me the grace. And all you only think you could use the state's money, our money, to pay off families and pay off this and pay off that. And you give people contracts, they get a kickback so you can get hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars in your accounts in China, in Africa, and wherever you want to hide the money. There's a day coming when you get answer to us. And that's when my justice system in my head will kick in, and you can't deal with it. I could tell you that. Some of y'all would prefer to drink poison, to pull a trigger in your head. You do everything just to escape what will come to you at the hands of Guyanese people, because you'll answer to us one day. I'm telling you that. You shall answer to us. You will have to answer to us. If not this generation, you could be in a rocking chair with no teeth. You'll still have to answer because the record is there. Social media doesn't go anywhere. When one platform goes down, we can transfer information to another one, and we store it as for vengeance against y'all. It's after midnight. Do well, my brothers and sisters. Watch what I tell you. Watch for what I tell you. Watch for the payout. Watch for the statements that families will issue. I hope that you don't issue any, because we want. I asked every attorney in this country, you all who worth your salt, go and support this family. Be by their side. Protect them from the vultures. If they want to pay, they're not paying to settle a matter. They're paying because they owe the family that much. We're not paying to settle anything. Take the money. It's our money they give to y'all. Take it. But we'll deal with them differently. Y'all do well.